जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय ओम विश्वपाल परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विश्वपाल परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So today we are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 9, text number 8. And can I request devotees to kindly move a little bit this side so I can... So, Tvadataya Vayuna Edam Achashta Vishwam Supta Prabhuddha Ivanatha Bhavat Prapannaha Tasyapavargya Sharanam Tava Padamulam Vismaryate Kritavida Khatam Artabandho Tvadataya Vayunayedamachashta Vishwam Tvadataya Vayunayedamachashta Vishwam Supta Prabhuddha Ivanatha Bhavat Prapannaha supta prabhuddha ivanata bhavat prapannaha tasyapavargya sharanam tava padamulam tasyapavargya sharanam tava padamulam Vismaryate kritavida khatam artabandho Vismaryate kritavida khatam artabandho Vaishnavis. Tvaddattaya vayunayedamachashta vishvam Supta prabhuddha ivanata bhavat prapannaha Sharanam tava padamulam Vismaryate kritavida katamartha bandho. What word meaning? Tvaddattaya, given by you. Vayunaya, by knowledge. Idam, this. Achashta, could see. Vishwam, whole universe. Supta prabhuddha, a man rising from sleep, Iva like Natha, O my Lord, Bhavat Prapannaha, persons desiring liberation, Lord Brahma, who is surrendered unto you. Tasya, his, Apavargya, of persons desiring liberation. Sharanam, the shelter. Tava, your. Padamulam, lotus feet. Vismaryate, can be forgotten. Kritavida, by a learned person. Katham, how. Artabandho, O friend of the distressed. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. O my Master, Lord Brahma is fully surrendered unto you. In the beginning you gave him knowledge, and thus he could see and understand the entire universe, just as a person awakens from sleep and visualizes his immediate duties. You are the only shelter of all persons who desire liberation, and you are the friend of all who are distressed. How, therefore, can a learned person who has perfect knowledge ever forget you? Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be forgotten even for a moment by his surrendered devotees. The devotee understands that the Lord's causeless mercy is beyond his estimation. He cannot know how much he is benefited by the grace of the Lord. The more a devotee engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, the more encouragement is supplied by the energy of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that to those who are constantly engaged in devotional service with love and affection, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives intelligence from within, and thus they may make further progress. Being so encouraged, the devotee can never forget at any moment the personality of Godhead. He always feels obliged to him for having achieved increased power in devotional service by his grace. Saintly persons like Sanaka, Sanatana, and Lord Brahma were able to see the entire universe by the mercy of the Lord through knowledge of the Lord. The example is given that a person may apparently abstain from sleep all day, but as long as he is not spiritually enlightened, he is actually sleeping. He may sleep at night and perform his duties in the daytime, but as long as he does not come to the platform of working in spiritual enlightenment, he is considered to be always sleeping. A devotee, therefore, never forgets the benefit derived from the Lord. The Lord is addressed here as Artha Bandhu, which means friend of the distressed. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, after many births of executing severe austerities in search of knowledge, one comes to the point of real knowledge and becomes wise when one surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Mayavadi philosopher who does not surrender unto the Supreme Person is understood to be lacking in real knowledge. The devotee, in perfect knowledge, cannot forget his obligation to the Lord at any moment. Let's do Mangalacharan. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वप्रदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। भूतैर्महद्भिर्ययिमा पुरो विभो निर्मायशेते यदमोषु पुरुषा भुङ्क्तेर्गुणांशो दशषोडशात्मका सोऽलङ्कृशिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे। श्रीकृष्ण शरणं शरणागतं कथा अमृतं सततपीबतं भक्तिवेदान्तमार्गपङ्क्तनं सर्वलोकऋषिदेवजनप्रसन्नं सर्वलोकऋषिदेवजनप्रसन्नम्। Hare Krishna. Welcome again everyone to this morning Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we are looking at a very beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a very sweet emotional exchange between Dhruva Maharaj and his dear sweet Lord Shri Krishna, who has appeared in front of him in the form of Lord Vishnu. And this exchange is that of gratitude and love. So after performing such severe austerities, Dhruva Maharaj attains the darshan of Lord Vishnu. And when Lord Vishnu has appeared before him, little Dhruva, who's only 5 years old, he's just lost his composure. He doesn't know what to do. Lord Vishnu is standing right in front of him. The Lord whom he has been meditating upon so long in his heart is suddenly in front of him. So even we can imagine, isn't it? When we are thinking about someone in our heart and when we are so much in love and suddenly that person just appears right in front of you, what would you feel like? You will just be like, what do I say? What do I do? So like that, little Dhruva is looking at Lord Vishnu. And then when Lord Vishnu touches his forehead with his conch shell, receiving the Lord's blessing, little Dhruva starts offering beautiful prayers. And in today's prayer, he is offering his gratitude. He is expressing his love. And what is he saying? How can anyone forget you, oh dear Lord? So he's saying that one who has surrendered to you can never ever forget you. And he's giving the example of Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma, who is Dhruva's great grandfather, isn't it? So Dhruva's father is Uttanapad, his father is Swayambhuva Manu, and his father is Lord Brahma. So coming from the lineage of Lord Brahma, here little Dhruva is offering the example of his own great grandfather, who at the beginning of creation, just before he started creation, Lord Brahma also offered beautiful prayers to the Supreme Lord, saying that, no one can ever forget you, and please help me so that even I don't deviate from the Vedic hymns, so that I don't deviate from chanting your holy names. Like this, Lord Brahma offered prayers. So we will look at that as well later on today. So saying like this, little Dhruva is saying, O Lord, you are the ultimate shelter of everyone. You are the dear friend of everyone. So Shri Krishna says, even in the Bhagavad Gita, what does he say? Ghatir bharta prabhu sakshi nivasa sharanam suhrit prabhava pralayasthanam nidhanam bijam avyayam. So he says that I am your ultimate goal. Ghatir bharta prabhu sakshi, I am the witness, I am your maintainer, I am your dear friend. So Krishna says all this, and then at the end of Bhagavad Gita, what does he say? Just think of me always, O Arjuna, and do your duty. Never ever forget me. So saying this, Lord Krishna advises Arjuna to always remember him. So here we are saying that same principle coming from a devotee. So here Dhruva is saying, O Lord, we can never forget you. One who has surrendered unto you can never ever forget you. And then he says that you give so much knowledge to everyone that everyone can realize the absolute truth and ultimately come back to you. So you shower your love on everyone. You give such knowledge, this most precious knowledge to everyone. So for such a person who gives everything to us, how can we ever forget you? So it is like that, isn't it? It could be our parents, it could be our teachers, our guru. We know that someone is giving us so much knowledge. They are showering their love and affection on us. And then how can we ever forget them? And we can see that in any relationship, isn't it? Between friends or between any two people who are in so much love with each other. They can never forget the other person. No matter what they are doing, this person's vision will constantly go on in your mind. So like that, when we know that Shri Krishna is our supreme lover, and when we also want to offer our heart full of love to Shri Krishna, then we can never forget him. At least we may not be on that platform yet, but we can try. We can try to follow in the footsteps of the gopis, in the footsteps of a dear devotee like Dhruva Maharaj, like Prahalad Maharaj. So Prahalad Maharaj is the example for Smaranam, who was constantly remembering the Lord. So like that, even we can endeavor to always try to remember Shri Krishna in our heart. So today we'll try to discuss and meditate what Srila Prabhupada is speaking in each line of his purport, which is so precious. So he says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be forgotten even for a moment by his surrendered devotees. So we see that even in the gopis, isn't it? When Krishna goes away to the forest, what do they say? Oh, when you have gone away, for us, even a moment feels like thousands of years, because we cannot stay away from you. But then at the same time, when you are with us, even for a long time, that feels just like a moment. So it's not enough. We haven't had enough of you, Krishna. We want you to be with us all the time. Or rather, he is with us all the time. We have to give our heart and mind to him all the time. Then what does Srila Prabhupada says? The devotee understands that the Lord's causeless mercy is beyond his estimation. He cannot know how much he is benefited by the grace of the Lord. So we all know that whatever we are doing, it is because of Krishna's mercy. It is because of Krishna's causeless mercy. And we can all see it in our own lives, isn't it? We may have been going through so many different challenges in our life, whether before or now or whatever. But despite all of that, if somehow Krishna is helping us to bring us to his lotus feet, it is only his mercy. Because without that, what would we be? We'll be like nothing. We'll all be just lost, wandering around, we don't know where. But somehow Krishna pulls us to his lotus feet. No matter what challenges, difficulties we face in our life, no matter what conditionings we have, because we are all not, or at least I'm not, can't say for everyone, we are not pure devotees, isn't it? We are all struggling. We are struggling with our nature, with our desires, with all that is there in our heart. But yet, somehow through Krishna's causeless mercy, he allows us to serve him. And then Srila Prabhupada says, the more a devotee engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, the more encouragement is supplied by the energy of the Lord. So, the more we try to serve him, so once we understand that only through Krishna's mercy we are able to serve him, once we get that understanding, and then once when we start serving him, we take little baby steps towards serving him, then what happens? Krishna's energy, who is that? Srimati Radharani. So Shri Krishna's internal pleasure-giving potency, Srimati Radharani, gives us more energy to serve him, because mercy from Krishna flows to us through Srimati Radharani, through all her Sakhis, Lalita, Vishaka, and through all the descendants like that. And then through our Guru Parampara, through Srila Prabhupada, through our Shiksha Gurus, through devotees. So through Sadhu Sangha, through the association of devotees, what happens? Krishna's mercy flows towards us. And then devotees encourage us to serve Krishna more and more. isn't it? Sometimes we might be feeling tired and sleepy, or we might think, oh, I don't want to do, but we'll know, oh no, I have a service, I have to go, isn't it? So like that, Krishna's energy will give us more encouragement. So it's a bit like when the battery in a phone is down. So even though the battery is down, once you charge it, then the charge increases in the phone. Like that, when we are taking baby steps towards serving Krishna, even though we might sometimes feel like drawn back or giving up, what happens? Because we are eager to serve Krishna, then Krishna's energy, Srimati Radharani, will draw us and pull us more towards Krishna. And then Srila Prabhupada says that in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that to those who are constantly engaged in devotional service with love and affection, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives intelligence from within, and thus they may make further progress. So what does Krishna say? We can all chant together. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam enamam upayanti te. So, tesham satatayuktanam, for one who is constantly, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So it is said that intelligence is given. It is not that we are naturally just manifesting our own intelligence. It is not like, we are such superior beings with the greatest intelligence on earth. No. Intelligence is given by Krishna through his mercy. So when we try to serve Krishna with love and affection, then what happens? Krishna's energy encourages us on one side, so that kind of fulfills our spirit. So the energy is trying to, the Srimati Radharani's energy is trying to uplift our spirit. And at the same time, Krishna is giving intelligence in our mind. So our brain also has to function, isn't it? We might have so much of love for Krishna. It might be there in your heart. But if you don't know how to serve Krishna, then what's the point, So along with that love, intelligence is also given by Krishna so that we can wholeheartedly and with all our potential serve him to the best of our abilities. So not everyone might be able to do everything. So Krishna chooses, like we have beautiful devotees who are making such beautiful garlands. So Krishna's mercy is guiding them to make beautiful garlands. So they choose what colors of flowers to put, what petal folding to do, how to make the garland, what is the length of the garland. Everything Krishna gives the intelligence. Someone is good in kirtan singing, someone is good in playing mridanga, so they have to give all those, arati, we say arati or tihai, they say at the end of a kirtan. So it all has to fall in rhythm, it has to fall in tala. And how do we do it? Through Krishna's mercy and the intelligence he gives. And it's so like that, any service we do, Krishna helps us to serve him. So then what does Srila Prabhupada say? He always feels, that is, the devotee, being so encouraged, the devotee can never forget any moment the personality of Godhead. So once we are encouraged like that by Krishna's divine energy from our heart,
then what happens? We also feel that gratitude. Oh my God, Krishna has given me so much. How can I ever forget him? No, no, no. I have to go back. I have to go and serve him. No matter what happens, I am Krishna's servant. That is my original position. I am not this, I'm not that, I'm not whatever. I can be in Australia, I can be in India, I can be wherever, but I am a servant of Krishna. I have to serve Krishna wherever I am. So, like that, we also begin to feel that gratitude in our heart. And then Srila Prabhupada says, he always feels obliged to him for having achieved increased power in devotional service by his grace. So from taking little baby steps, a devotee slowly advances on the path, isn't it? So we can all also feel that from what we were when we began years ago, knowing nothing in Krishna consciousness. We wouldn't have even known who is Krishna, what is bhakti, what are, who are devotees, what to do, kirtan singing, flowers, anything, Shastra, Bhagavad Gita, nothing. But from all that, slowly, through Krishna's mercy and encouragement and through our gratitude, we keep advancing slowly. So as that keeps happening, we become obliged to the Lord. So then what happens if we have a proper consciousness, or rather at least our consciousness is also evolving, and as we become more Krishna conscious, we feel obliged to the Lord. So we feel, oh no matter what happens, it's my duty to serve Krishna. So whether we have that pure love or not yet, but still we feel that sense of duty in our heart. Whatever happens, I have to serve Krishna, no matter what. So then what happens? Srila Prabhupada gives the examples of Sanaka, Sanatana and Lord Brahma. They were all able to see the entire universe by the mercy of the Lord, through knowledge of the Lord. So we see that example given by Dhruva Maharaj as well. So what does Dhruva say? O my master, Lord Brahma is fully surrendered unto you. In the beginning, you gave him knowledge, and thus he could see and understand the entire universe. So, we will look at this little pastime where Lord Brahma, before he began creation, what happened when Lord Brahma was born from the lotus flower, which arose from the navel of Lord Vishnu. Lord Brahma was just perplexed. He was wondering, who am I? Where did I come from? What is my duty? What should I do? And then he was wondering. He didn't know what to do. And then what did he do? He saw the lotus flower. And then he thought, okay, maybe this is the source from which I have come. And then he went down the stem of the lotus flower. He went down for millions of years trying to find his origin. And still he couldn't. So ultimately then what did he do? He came up the stem of the lotus, he came on top, and then now he realized, this is beyond me. It is beyond my understanding. There is some superior power that is beyond me. And then he surrendered. And at that time, the Lord spoke from his heart. He said, Tapa, Tapa, Tapa. He said, do austerity. And then what happened? Lord Brahma did 100 celestial years of austerity. Then after all that, he then realized his purpose. So in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, what do we hear? जन्मादस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृडां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. So tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye. So from the heart of Lord Brahma, Krishna gave him the knowledge. So then when Lord Brahma understood his purpose, then he knew that his duty is to create. He is the creator of the material universes. So before beginning creation, Lord Brahma offers beautiful prayers. And there, so there's a lot here. Just with time, I will try to see how much we can cover. So Lord Brahma, understanding his purpose, just before beginning creation, he offers prayers. And in that, the last 4 prayers are very, very special. They are very important and they are also very relevant to today's verse. So in these last 4 verses, that is 3, 9, 22 to 25. You can go and look up these verses, 3, 9, 22, 23, 24 and 25. So in these 4 verses, Lord Brahma says in 22, I pray that the Lord be merciful towards me so that I may be empowered with the introspection to create. So here he is asking for the Lord's mercy to be empowered so that he can create. So just as we saw, without the Lord's mercy, we cannot do anything. So here Lord Brahma is praying to the Supreme Lord. Please give me mercy so that I can do the work of creation. And then he says, I pray that I not be materially affected by my works, for thus I may be able to give up the false prestige of being the creator. So this is another important prayer that we have to offer as well in our heart. Because here Lord Brahma is saying, I would be creating. And then in the process of creation, what will happen? I might think that I am the creator. So I will be overcome by false prestige and pride. Therefore, O Supreme Lord, please help me not to be materially affected by my work. So this is also something that we can all pray, because when we do some service to Krishna, sometimes our false prestige can take over, or sometimes we'll be overcome by pride. We might think, oh, I am doing this service for Krishna. It is me, Without me, nothing can happen. All these things can start creeping into our head. And sometimes to the extent that people can think that they are indispensable, which means what? They can think that without them, nothing will happen. So all these thoughts, when they come into our heads, we have to be very careful. We have to feel, oh Krishna, please help me not to become proud of my service for you. And that way we can also follow in the footsteps of Lord Brahma. And then what does Lord Brahma says? Now this is the key point for today's verse. So Lord Brahma says in text 24, I pray that in the course of my material activities, I may not be deviated from the vibration of the Vedic hymns. So this is another important point. So here Lord Brahma is saying that as I'm doing creation, first he says, please give me your mercy so that I can be empowered. Then he says, please help me so that I don't become proud. And then he says, please help me so that I don't deviate from chanting your names. And this is what it means to not forget Krishna. So we might think, how can I never forget Krishna? What should I do? So here Lord Brahma is teaching us that simply by chanting Krishna's holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So simply by chanting Krishna's holy names constantly, by chanting his glories, by reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, by hearing, by giving oral reception, so by hearing, by speaking, by reciting verses, as we are all doing today. So by doing all this, we can be constantly under the shelter and protection and remembrance of Krishna. So that this verse which Lord Brahma offers is very beautiful. So I thought we'll try to chant that verse. So what does he say? Nabhi hridadi hashatombasi yasya pumso vijnana shaktiraham asam ananta shakte rupam vichitramidamasya vivrinvato me Mari rishishta nigamasya giram visargaha. So Lord Brahma says, the Lord's potencies are innumerable. As he lies down in the water of devastation, I am born as the total universal energy from the navel lake in which the lotus sprouts. I am now engaged in manifesting his diverse energies in the form of the cosmic manifestation. I therefore pray that in the course of my material activities, I may not be deviated from the vibration of the Vedic hymns. So, we can also see that as we keep doing our different material duties, sometimes there is a possibility that we might get so engrossed that we might lose track of Krishna in our heart, or we might lose track of our devotional service, of following our bhakti principles. And that is where we have to catch ourselves. But then how do we do it? What are the methods for us to constantly stay in touch with bhakti? As we saw, what do? Hearing, chanting, very good. So we have the 9 processes of bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So any one of this we can try to keep following, or all of them. So beginning with Shravanam, we keep constantly hearing. So we can keep hearing lectures, we can keep reciting shlokas, we can keep singing kirtan. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, trying to remember the Lord. As we chant, our mind will deviate, our mind will think about 100 things to do. What is a plan for today? What is a plan for tomorrow? What should I do this week? what do I do with my work, what should I do next month, how is my family, what is happening in India, what's happening in Australia. So many things will go on in our mind, but we have to try and pull our mind back to chanting. And what do when our mind wanders? Just chant loud. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So like this, then we go to the temple. So Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. We run to the temple to serve the Lord, to take up different sevas. Then Archanam, we worship the deity. So starting from morning, whatever, if we don't have, you have a picture, photo at home of Krishna, then offer prayers, do the arati. So like that, as we keep doing deity worship, Archa Vigraha, then Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, we offer different prayers. Dhasyam, we think ourselves as a servant of Krishna. Then Atma Nivedanam, we give everything to Krishna. So slowly, as we keep doing all this, what happens? We come under the divine shelter and protection of Krishna all the time, 24 hours a day. Then what happens? We can never deviate from chanting the names of Krishna. That way we can also never ever forget Krishna. So also all this chanting, all this, when we do, it is not that Krishna needs anything from us. It is us who are benefiting. So that is what Srila Prabhupada says in today's verse as well. When a devotee knows that he has benefited so much from Krishna's mercy, how can he ever forget him? So this is said by Prahlad Maharaj in his prayers. What does Prahlad Maharaj say? Naivatmana prabhurayam nijalabha purno manam janad avidusha karuno vrinite yadyajano bhagavate vidaditamanam tachatmane pratimukhasya yatha mukhashri. So Prahlad Maharaj says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always fully satisfied in himself. Therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in a mirror is also seen to be decorated. So I remember many years ago when I first started Krishna consciousness, when I saw everyone bowing down in front of Krishna. I had this question and I asked my Shiksha Guru, why is everyone bowing down before Krishna? Or rather, why is Krishna asking us to bow down before him? If he's a sweet Lord, why does he want us to bow down before him? And why should we bow down? And at that time, my Shiksha Guru, he gave this verse. And he says, the Lord doesn't need anything from us. Just like when we decorate ourselves and when we look at the mirror. We can put on nice ornaments, everything, and when we look at the mirror, the reflection is also decorated, isn't it? Like that, when we bow down to Krishna, Krishna also becomes obliged to his dear devotee. Krishna feels, oh, this dear servant of mine, he loves me so much. He's bowing down to me. oh my God, I have to give all my love to this little devotee of mine. Like that, Krishna's mercy flows towards us. And then what happens? We become surcharged with more energy, which is what we saw today. And then we also become obliged. We become benefited. And then we feel, oh no, I have so much gratitude for Krishna. I have to bow down more and more and more. So like this, it's a very sweet reciprocation and exchange of love between a devotee and his dear sweet Lord Krishna, which is what Dhruva Maharaj is saying in today's verse. And then another beautiful point which we saw in today's verse is about taking the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. So what is Dhruva Maharaj saying? Tasyapavargya sharanam tava pada moolam. One who has surrendered and taken shelter of your lotus feet, such a person can never ever forget you. So in relation to this, we can see a verse which Narad Muni says to Vyasadeva. What does he says? न वै जनो जातु कथञ्चना व्रजेन् मुकुन्द सेवन्यवदङ्ग संस्मृतिं स्मरन् मुकुन्दाङ्घ्रि उपगुह्यमानं पुनर् विहातुमिच्छेन रसग्रहो जनः. So here Narad Muni says, my dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. So this is also something that we can take to our heart, because sometimes there is a possibility that we might deviate. We might forget Krishna, because we are all prone to our material nature. We are all still prone to conditioning. But here Narad Muni is giving us assurance that even though someone, kind of deviates or goes away, because one has taken the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, we are caught in that net of love for Krishna. So we might be facing challenges or difficulties, but it is all there to pull us back to Krishna. So somehow Krishna will hold us and he will pull us back to him through Srimati Radharani's mercy. So that way we can see that when we are under the shelter, protection and guidance of devotees around us, and when we come and serve in the temple, when we offer prayers to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, like this, constantly by being under the loving care and protection of Krishna, we can also never ever forget Krishna. But instead, what can we do? We can always remember Krishna. Only one person's answering. I want everyone to answer. So we can never ever forget Krishna, but we can always remember Krishna. So that is our takeaway point for today. And I'll just sing one quick line that Lord Brahma sings and we will conclude. So when he saw the beautiful toenails of Shri Krishna, Lord Brahma says that O Lord Sri Krishna, I am offering a prayer. Please let the bee of my mind be offered the nectarian honey of your lotus feet. So we'll just sing one line, just a couple of minutes, and we'll finish. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande, Manamanasa Madhu Karamarpaya Nija Pada Pankaja Makarande, Manamanasa Madhu Karamarpaya Nija Pada Pankaja Makarande, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande, Deva Bhavantam Vande. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.